Hello, my friend, and welcome to the podcast. I am thrilled, just beyond thrilled that you're here today because this one's going to be a quick episode, but it's going to be super impactful because we're talking about summer and how our schedule changes over the summer, but we also want to keep things going. And I know this because I asked the question on my email list. I said, what do you want or what would you consider a win for this summer? And the answer overwhelmingly was this: feeling good about how I used my time. And I just love this answer because it wasn't like everyone had the same goal in terms of like wanting to do the same thing, like launch a program or do a thing in your business, whatever it is. It was like, you just want to know you used your time well. So this is what it tells me about you, is that you want to be very intentional with your summer, but you don't necessarily want it to go to waste in terms of your goal, which I love so much because for years and years and years, as I've been running this business, I've always helped entrepreneurs. And I've said, if you can just keep going even a little bit over the summer, you will avoid the September scramble, September scaries, whatever you want to call it, because they come up. Every year in my inbox, the last week in August is like, oh my gosh, Amanda, I need help. And so I'm here telling you, if you can do a little bit of work over the summer, you will avoid that feeling. And so I'm going to talk to you about a slow summer sprint today. And I'm just so excited to share this very easy thing with you because you can implement this right away. And on this note, you can do this anytime. It doesn't have to be the summer. You can make this your full-on plan. But the idea is that you're going to be very intentional about a time that typically throws a lot of people off from a schedule perspective. So what we're thinking about when it comes to summer is not shutting everything down. So many people think it's kind of like an all or nothing, especially if you have younger kids at home or you're coordinating camps. So I know I work with a lot of parents, and here's the thing, this is a season, and I know you want to enjoy the summer with your kids. I totally understand that, but it's also okay for you to continue to move forward with your goals, whether it's a business goal, a personal goal, whatever the case is. You do not have to put your goal on hold just because your schedule is a little more dictated by kids' schedules. You do not have to do that. And maybe I'll get some backlash for that. I don't know. But you don't have to. Your kids are going to feel very supported, even if you're still moving forward towards your goal, whether it's a business or personal goal. So I just want to remind you of that, because when you're able to prioritize what's really important for you, you can be present with your kids when you're actually there with them. So make sure you stop that all or nothing thinking if it creeps in. If you start to say, well, I really need to do this, it's like, well, you can do both. It's just, you just have to be intentional about looking ahead and planning for it. So I want you to keep that in mind. And also, yes, we're talking about the summer and we're talking about our schedule's changing and all of this, but we also want to look ahead to fall, because as you noticed, I said, if you do things now, you will avoid the September scramble. And so we want to think about, what do you want to do? What do you hope to be doing in the fall? Because you can utilize the summer to prepare for that. Last week on the podcast, episode 28, Courtney talked about planting seeds, because you plant seeds and then you see them sprout later. So often, one of my favorite things is actually to work with people over the summer who are wanting to plant those seeds. So you actually don't see anything in terms of sometimes you can see like revenue growth or progress on something, but a lot of the time, my favorite thing to do with clients is to work on those behind the scenes projects during the summer, because you can do them in your off time. It's often things like really behind the scenes, so you don't have to be front facing in your business or whatever it is. If you're writing a book, this is a good time to be like heads down writing during some of the time. Even though it's shorter pockets of time, you can do a lot. So it's a really cool thing to think about what's behind the scenes that will project and like propel me forward for the fall. So with that, let's talk about this slow summer sprint. So it's a 4-step process and it's a very easy one. So step number 1 is, I want you to identify what this means to you. So when I say you want to feel good about how you spent your time, I want you to define that for you very specifically. This is key. This is absolutely key to the process, because if you do not define this for yourself, of course you're going to feel like crap later. Of course that's going to happen because you haven't defined it for yourself, so you're following someone else's perfect summer, right? And so you need to define what this feels like. Very intentionally, I want you to define what it feels like for you. That's the thing that a lot of people get thrown off by. They're say like, this is the thing I want to achieve. And I'm guilty of this too. I focus on outcomes a lot. But when we think about our time and how we want it to feel like we used it in the best way possible, I want you to think about, what do you want to feel? Do you want to feel relaxed? Do you want to feel like you were productive? Do you want to feel like you're done with something, that you wrapped up a project? Do you want to feel proud of that? What is the feeling that you want at the end of the summer? And so when you identify what that is, you can then plan for that. Miraculous, right? It seems so simple, but it's an easy thing to overlook because we go straight to planning. We go straight to the thing of like, I want to plan for this outcome. But if we have to stop and pause and say, how do I want to feel? Because if I want to feel good about how I spent my time, what does that look like for me? So I really want you to think about this. And if you are, maybe you're taking a walk, maybe you're sitting at your desk, maybe you're doing something where you can actually sit and write, I want you to write it down. This will be a big thing for you because you're 40% more likely to achieve something if you write it down. So I want you to write down what you're feeling. If you're driving, you are not off the hook, my friend, because you don't have to write this, but I am going to give you, I'm going to tell you when to pause. So don't pause yet. But what I want you to do is use the tools that you have at your fingertips. Not necessarily like the driving wheel here, but the phone that you have, we're going to use this. So you're going to say, when I tell you to pause, you're going to say, hey, Siri. I'm not going to say her name because she's going to pop up, or whatever your system is that you use. And you say, and maybe if you're cooking or in the kitchen and you can say the Alexa, I think I spelled it right. Say her name and then say, I need you to take a note for me. And she will say, okay. You then voice what you want to feel by the end of summer. You just talk to her and then you say, please email that to me or please text that to me. And then you'll have it. And you don't have to worry about doing it later, because that's the thing. You're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, oh, this is another thing on my to-do list. No. We're going to do this right now. So you can do this. You can pause and do it and just take a minute or two. Like, this does not take a lot. It's just, how do you want to feel? What came up for you? When I was rambling on about productive or relaxed or rejuvenated, whatever, like, which one resonated? Go with that. Okay, now's the time to pause if you're going to pause. Perfect. Now we're back. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2 is to pick one project that will set you up for a great fall. Now, this is specifically if you are looking in your business. Maybe it's something like you want to launch something in the fall, and so you need to do the behind the scenes work. If you are working on a personal goal, it might not be something so tangible like that. Like, it might be if you're working on a health goal, fitness goal, that sort of thing. Like, you want to feel really good going into the holidays. So what does that look like over the summer? How do you want to set yourself up for that on a regular basis? So thinking about how to set yourself up for the next season. And the reason that we're doing this is, one, we're seeing how we want to feel. So we're looking forward. Then we're going to say, okay, well, what's going to set me up for the next season? So we're still looking forward. And now we're going to reverse engineer and actually create that plan. What this is doing is it's allowing you to be very, very intentional with this idea of planning. So often we go straight to plan without checking in these other two things. So I actually asked about this on Instagram. So shout out to everyone who answers my polls and my questions on Instagram. It's really helpful because it allows me to make better podcast episodes. So thank you in advance, because I know you'll do it in the future. So thank you. And so when I asked on Instagram, I said, what do you want to do over the summer? Or if I said it like this, fast forward 3 months, what do you hope to have accomplished or have learned or have done? And one person said, celebrating the 7th year in business, which is very exciting. So that person is more in maintenance mode. They just want to keep on keeping on because they're happy with what's going on and they just want to keep going. So maintenance mode over the summer, but celebrating in the fall, which will be very exciting. Another person said, I want to pull off my pilot program. Now, personally, I would say you're not going to pull it off. You're going to do great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be successful. I would change those words a little bit. But point being, this person is more in a growth part. This person's going to be more busy over the summer in a great way, productive, not just busy, but producing that pilot program. It's going to be amazing, but she's going to put in a lot of work this summer in order to probably have an even better program next summer. So what she's doing is she's thinking a year ahead, right? But she's got to start now. She's got to do it right now. Another person said, launch my new course. Super exciting. And this person, all these people I actually know too, which is really fun. Those are usually the people that answer my polls and questions, but I would love to hear more. But this person who wants to launch a new course, what I know that she did is she actually paid for support. So she is actually going through a program that's going to help her do that. So she purchased the structure she needed over the summer so that she can launch in the fall, which was a great use of her time, energy, finances. Another person said, I want to go on vacation and enjoy it. And don't we all have that? It's amazing how many of us will actually go on vacation stressed about coming home. I'll raise my hand here. We all do it. But if you want to go on vacation and enjoy it, then let's say you've got a vacation planned in July. Well, in May and in June, you need to think, how can I set myself up so that I can enjoy it? What do I need to get done now so that I can truly walk away and not worry about the things in the business, the things in life, whatever it is? What can you do? And also planning for when you come back. Don't set yourself up for the panic that happens. Set yourself up for the ease back into work, ease back into the life stuff. So really thinking ahead for that. So step one is think about, what is the feeling that you're going for? Step number 2, pick one project. No matter what it is, it's related to your business, any type of goal that you have, pick one project so you're not overloading yourself. Step 3 is mapping out a plan. Okay, so, and I say this loosely. I want you to map out a plan loosely. So first, I want you to think about how often, frequent, time frame will you or do you need to work over the summer? Some of us have time constraints where it's like, well, because the kids are doing these X, Y, and Z things, I can only work 3 hours a day or 3 hours a week, whatever the case is, towards the thing. When you ask yourself that, now you know your time constraint. Okay, that's the time I have. Therefore, I'm only going to plan for that amount of time. Instead of trying to cram 8 hours of work into a 3-hour span, you're going to actually be intentional with that time. So that's what I'm saying is planning, also giving yourself a lot of buffer room because summer is crazy. It's a crazy schedule time. So hold it loosely, okay? You're going to create a plan, but hold it loosely. Leave room for spontaneity, for things to come up, for things to shift. Loose plan. Here's the thing though. You need to know what works for you. And not just what works for you, like what you want, but what you need. So many people that work with me, I would say it's 50-50. Some of you love planning, and you love planning so much that you stay in planning mode and you're not in action mode. And we've all been there. I'm not trying to point fingers or anything. It's we all get in there because planning's fun. And for those of us who like planning, we can hang out in the plan time. So what you need is actually to set a timer to create your plan, your loose plan, and then get away from it and actually do the work. So that's what you want and need. The other side of who I work with are people who don't like planning at all. And they're like, I just go with the flow. I like how it feels when I can just decide what to do that day. That's beautiful. I want to give you space for that. But how far has that gotten you? Right? Having the feeling of she knows me, and I do, because it's a great thing, but you probably need a little bit more structure. Structure, one of my favorite quotes from my friend Laura, she says, structure creates flexibility, and I totally believe in that. When you have a structure in place, it can be loose. Absolutely, but it gives you the flexibility to change things because you know what you were supposed to do that day or that week. So giving yourself that loosely held plan is actually going to help you. So 1, know the feeling that you're going for. 2, pick the project that's going to set you up for future success. 3, map out that loosely held plan that you're going to use. And 4, my friend, it's time to show up and do the work for yourself because planning and dreaming is so fun. It's great, but it does not get you any closer than where you are right now. You have to take the action. So you have to be committed to actually taking the action based on what you want to do. Again, all of this is held loosely so that you can have the time freedom that you want over the summer, but you can also be feeling so good about how you spent your time because that's what you told me you want to do. You said, Amanda, I want to feel good about how I spent my time. And if you said at the beginning of this, I want to feel very present with my family or very present with myself or very present with my kids or friends, whatever the case is, in order for you to be present, you have to check the boxes in the other areas that are swimming around in your head because otherwise you're thinking about them. You are a very ambitious person. There's no one here listening to this podcast that is not ambitious. That is a qualification almost around here. It's like you're very ambitious. You probably have lots of ideas. They will consume your brain if you do not have some sort of plan for them. And so if you can put some loose structure around your summer with lots of breathing room, you'll feel so good about it and you'll be present with the people, including yourself. And that's what you really want. Most people will say something around that. Like, I want to feel really good about being present when I'm with other people, when I'm with myself. I want to be like in the moment, and I want to have those experiences and make those memories over the summer. The only way that you can do that is to have a little bit of structure, loose structure, so that you can do this. So that's what I want you to do today. The accountable action is to go through this process. I want you to define how you want to feel. I want you to pick your focus. I want you to plan loosely and then do the dang work. You can do this. I believe in you, and I cannot wait to see what happens on the other side of this for your summer. And of course, if you need support, if you want help with this, I would love to help you. And you can always go to my website, amandamckinney.com/work with me. But I am offering, this is the first time I'm saying this on the podcast. I don't know how long these are going to be available. Maybe forever if people love them. But right now, I'm promising them through the summer. So if you're listening in real time, then I'm offering Voxer days. So this is where you and I get to talk on Voxer, and we don't have to schedule a Zoom call. You still get my brain on your goal, your plan, your business, your life. It's very individualized, but it's all on Voxer. It's super fun. I love them. I use Voxer only with my one-on-one clients, and I thought, let me see if anyone would be interested in Voxer days, where we spend time together throughout the whole day, and you walk away with super clarity on the plan. And we work on it together. And so I'm really excited about that. I've had a few people take me up on it already. And so I have a few each month. And if there's, reason enough to open up some more spots, I'll do what I can to do that, with also respecting my summertime as well. But if you're interested in that, just let me know, because those are limited spots. So I would love to work with you in that way, or any other way that's on my website right now, whenever you go check it out. So I am really excited for your summer. I know you're excited too. So just remember, you can make your summer what you want it to be. You don't have to work all day, every day, but you do need to be intentional with the time that you're working towards your goal and into whatever you're wanting to put your focus into. So until next time, have a great rest of your week and keep being accountable. I'll talk to you soon.